You've tried posting text. That worked back in 2008, but not for long. So you tried to post images, but that only worked for a year or so until stories became the thing to start posting. But everyone else started doing that as well, and within a year, that wasn't cutting through either. And then there was live video streaming. Remember that phase? Millions of talking heads telling us about how amazing their lives were due to this vague business that they kept referring to that let them work from home on the laptop and get more out of their family lives. Until we worked out it was all just a network marketing scheme. And then there were the TikToks and the Reels and LinkedIn articles and using virtual assistants to flood the platforms with our Canva graphics, and nothing seemed to work. Or if it did, it wasn't for long. And it didn't matter if it was Facebook or Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Threads or LinkedIn, nothing worked. So we ranted and railed against the algorithms, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the big tech companies. They didn't support small business. They didn't care about anything but money. They didn't realize just how hard they were making it for hardworking people like us who were just trying to make a living. But there was one thing that didn't appear obvious to us. Amongst the angst and frustration against platforms and networks and ad systems, we never really asked the most obvious question. Am I the problem here? We attended workshops teaching us how to use the systems. We joined groups led by gurus who told us to work on our mindset. We watched YouTube videos on sales and closing and copywriting. We even hired people here and there to do it for us, and still nothing worked. You would think that after all this time that you would change something drastic about what you were doing, but the problem is you've just had enough sales and just enough encouragement and just enough cheerleading from people who love you to mean that while your lack of success hurts, it doesn't hurt enough yet. Now you're 2, 5 or 7, even 10 years into it, and now it hurts enough for you to consider radical change. You might consider quitting. You might consider a pivot. Or you might consider something less drastic that is still dramatic enough to represent a very real change. You could always simply stop trying to sell your stuff. And here's why it could make all the difference. Not one single person is on social media to be sold something. No one likes reading emails that tell them to buy something. And no one at all truly needs what you're trying to sell them, even if you think they do. No one needs a solution to a problem they don't even know they have. All your ingredients, all your packaging, all your long nights planning for just the right way to describe your products and services, none of that matters if no one needs your $30 bath bomb or your $300 remote healing consultation on a Zoom call or that $3,000 retreat on a weekend. No one needs these things. So everything you're doing just keeps failing. But not for the reasons you're thinking. It's not about the fact that no one needs these things. You're failing because no one knows who you are, and no one trusts you with their money. And there's only one way up from that low point, especially if you've spent years trying to convince people to buy your stuff based on all its wonderful features and benefits. You have to spend time now letting the people who are most likely to want or need what you do at some point in their lives to get to know you without mentioning your products or services. Yeah, you heard right. No one will trust you if all you ever do is try to sell them something. Just like that aunt in the 90s who was always trying to sell Amway, or that friend 10 years ago who was all over you with isogenics. When all that someone does is try to sell you a product or a service or some kind of far-off dream life that can only be accessed by sending them a message or clicking some unique link, then you're not going to have any trust in them over anything at all, let alone that $50 body scrub or that $500 starter pack or that $5,000 coaching program. So the questions you need to ask yourself now that it does hurt enough for you to consider radical change are: 1. What do I know that I'm something of an expert at? 2. What is it about me that someone would feel a connection to? And 3, am I willing to stop talking about what I'm trying to sell and just connect with other human beings as fellow travelers on the road of life, instead of downlines and customers and an entry point to a network of potential downlines and customers. What can you give without any expectation of a sale or reciprocation? Now that is a true adventure of online business as we reach the middle of the 2020s. I'm Dante St. James.